Frank Lloyd Wright said no house should ever be on a hill or on anything. It should be of the hill. Belonging to it, hill and house should live together, each the happier for the other. But there is not always this harmony. Man's hand has hidden or destroyed beauty. In this photo, you can see Palazzo Volta in Cellamonte, Monferrato, as it was until the early years of this century. Here you can admire the beauty that the hand of man has wanted to hide. It is currently home to the Cantoni stone, Pietra da Cantoni, a common museum, one of the most valuable building stones. It is derived from Miocene deposits at the time when the formation of the Apennine chain caused various variations in sea level, which covered much of the current Monferrato for millions of years. In June 2014, the Monferrato entered the UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is the sixth component of the Lang, Roero, and Monferrato Winescape Site. Recognition was obtained for the beauty of its inferno, ancient underground cellars dug in Pietra dei Cantoni. These tunnels, sometimes several meters deep below the ground, are extraordinary and functional works of art, often made by simple country masons who had only empirical knowledge of architecture. This hidden beauty is a typical feature of Italy's inner areas, rural areas characterized by their distance from the main service centers, education, health, and mobility. According to the latest census, inner areas make up 53% of Italian municipalities, are home to 23% of the Italian population, and cover 60% of the national territory. Demographic decline in population, aging are more pronounced in the inner areas than in the rest of Italy. The digital divide also affects economic productivity and the quality of services in these areas. Despite these negative characteristics, inner areas still contain significant environmental resources, water, high-quality agricultural products, forests, natural and human landscapes, and cultural assets, historic settlements, abbeys, small museums, and skill centers. They are also highly diversified due to their various natural systems and centuries, old settlement processes.
Prices have soared.
At $3,322,000. So,
Imagine a place where you can buy a house for just $1.50.
This one is the first house at €1 that I want to show you.
Oh, this is actually
€1.
Wow.
But what's the catch?
There's no bathroom here. I think they would have probably just washed.
By hiding the beauty of these places, their weaknesses have taken over, leaving them at the mercy of their fate. Thus, the value of their housing stock has plummeted, so much so that in several realities, such as these, many houses are offered at Euro. We believe this real estate can become the key to developing these areas if properly exploited. The €1 houses are the extreme form of a fire sale by which properties in these interior areas are almost always sold. Even our PropCo, which, by financing itself on the market, will buy them at these realization prices, but unlike other buyers, will offer a unique opportunity. We will offer those who have sold their real estate to our PropCo to invest in OpCo, established as an innovative startup, which will be in charge of regenerating and managing the real estate asset. In this way, they will immediately benefit from tax savings and possible capital gain in case of an exit. We propose an SG investment with the aspiration of impact investing, so the active involvement of local communities is necessary as the first step. That is why we aim to favor funding that comes from the grassroots, such as equity crowdfunding. Funds from other parties will be welcome if they share these general objectives, first and foremost that of combining sustainability with private equity returns. We would not be waiting for the godsend of public funds. These will be welcome. Over the past 2 decades, the AEC architectural engineering and construction industry has seen productivity growth of only 1% annually, that time and cost overruns are the norm, and overall earnings before interest and taxes, EBIT, are only about 5% despite the presence of significant risk in the industry. The smart buildings we will build will be research laboratories to experiment and propose new solutions to this problem ever. To achieve these results, we need to combine sustainability requirements, cost control, the use of new materials, industrial approaches, and digitization. We will look for new solutions to these problems, promoting the creation, acting as an incubator of startups in the sector, thus operating in the PropTech market. According to a recent survey by Future Market Insights, the PropTech sector is expected to have a significant CAGR compound annual growth rate of 16.8%, achieving in 2032 $86.5 billion. We want to breathe new life into these properties by recovering ancient construction techniques and updating them by combining technology, understood as a way to solve and anticipate real-world problems in the virtual world, using BIM, digital twin, and Internet of Things. We believe that we need to combine technology with design. For us, a product or environment should be designed to meet the needs of all people who wish to utilize it, regardless of age, culture, or abilities. Good universal design should lead to a product that is easily understood, accessed, and used by everyone without needing adaptation or specialized training. The other market in which we will operate is the vacation rental market, creating a widespread hospitality model, such as that of the Albergo de Fusho, offering hotel services not only to those who will rent our properties but also to those who will buy them according to the condo hotel model. Zaha Hadid said, "Architecture is really about well-being. I think that people want to feel good in a space. On one hand, it's about shelter, but it's also about pleasure. It is a pleasure that we want to emphasize. Therefore, the natural location of our hospitality is not in the accommodation inventory, but in the inventory of tourist attractions. The market in which it will operate is vacation rental. According to a recent study conducted by Technavio, the vacation rental market share is expected to increase by $79.30 billion by 2206. However, the growth momentum is likely to decelerate at a CAGR of 8.42%. According to another Statista study about the same period, the values will be lower but still clearly positive. Revenue is expected to show an annual growth rate of 6.30%, resulting in a projected market volume of $105.70 billion by 2076. Still, according to Technavio's study, Europe will be the leading region. 37% of the market's growth will originate from it. Europe during the forecast period. UK, France, and Italy are the key markets for vacation rental market in Europe. According to Erdna, some locations witnessed an impressive bounce back from the COVID-19 pandemic. Travelers flock to drive to getaways and rural locations off the beaten path. For destination marketers in those locations, 2021 was a year that proved the resilience of the travel industry. There is reason to believe that this trend will continue with new forms of work such as workation. It means combining work and leisure to enable employees to relax and be more productive. We can create the perfect combination of remote work, co-living, co-working, and vacation. We desire to create non-fungible experiences, so we believe that NEFT, not fungible tokens, can be a valuable tool for selling the experiences that will be had in our buildings, starting with a appraisal period, thus also being able to represent a form of financing for their realization. We want to find innovative ways to broaden as much as possible the possibility of contributing to the design and financing of the realization of new architectural works. So we look carefully at experiences that start from the virtual and go to the real, like fungible, non-fungible pavilion at Tallinn Architecture Biennale. Tab 2022, created by UK studio E Heartblow. This is the first NEFTA pavilion in the world that is designed by the community together. It's also co-owned by the community and co-funded by the community. A Heartblob intends for the pavilion to promote a slow and decentralized approach to architecture, in which the community replaces the architect as the master builder. Let's be careful not to fuel speculative bubbles, though, because sooner or later, they burst, and we don't want anyone to get hurt. We are environmentalists, not by ideological choice, but because it suits us. Who would buy a luxury apartment at a bargain price in a building with structural problems that is in danger of collapsing? This is because the well-being of those living within our buildings and in the surrounding area increases the economic value of our work. Our smart buildings will also be positive energy buildings, capable of producing more energy than they consume, thus becoming the first piece of a smart village, thus becoming an ESCO energy service company. In this way, we stand to be the first piece of an energy community, which, in turn, transforms the village into a smart village. They are merging all stakeholders toward achieving this win-win goal. The common goal is to offer innovative services that overcome the critical issues of the inner area, starting with the digital divide to old residents to attract new ones. In this new connected rurality, a health startup will be able to test innovative solutions that will enable them to put into practice Erasmus's maxim that prevention is better than cure, adding, not only for patients, but also for the pockets of those who pay. Another challenge in these areas is to find a solution to logistics problems. Thus, drone delivery could be one of many possible solutions to this problem. Here, another problem is mobility. One possible answer would be self-driving vehicles because these vehicles could operate better in these rural areas. In this context, the degree of complexity of large urban centers does not exist. OPCO, playing the role of promoter and coordinator of this entire ecosystem, will benefit from all its positive spin-offs, thus making the properties it regenerates and manages more attractive. But not only by merging all local stakeholders toward a common goal, it will remind local administrators that they are also constituents. In addition, building permit offices in these small municipalities are less structured than in larger entities, which is also why they are more permeable to change. Their handicap is that of chronic understaffing. This can be overcome by the arrival of new staff in these offices, the cost of which would be financed through private contributions. If you too feel fascinated by the challenge we are facing and would like to play as a team with us, but also want to make a critique or suggestion, write to us. We will be pleased to read you. If you too feel fascinated by the challenge we are facing and would like to play as a team with us, but also want to make a critique or suggestion,